Years of grime. This thing may never be cleaned again, but maybe it will. I don't know. How clean does a tractor need to be anyway? Quite a few years ago, I had some plumbing work done to the water center in the garage with soft water tank, pressure tank, all that stuff in one little corner. And I had them go ahead and hook it up to where I could run hot water to one single outside spigot. And I'm telling you guys, if you get a chance to do that, it is fantastic. I wouldn't recommend hooking it up to your power washer. I learned the hard way that part of the power washer's cooling is the water, and you start running hot water through it and boom, fry the pump, which I did to one pump. Lesson learned. But for just a garden hose with a spray nozzle, man, this is great to have. Just piping hot water really does 10 times a better job at getting that grease and stuff. And I've got this thing lifted because I've pulled out the main drive belt. Hooks to the right up above the PTO, runs on back, powers the transmission, which I'm hosing down right there. And I'm gonna get all this nice. I've got the old belt pulled off. Before I stick the new one on, which by the way, right up in there, thank you Craftsman, is a routing. Is that the routing for the deck or the routing for the tractor? I think that's the one for the tractor. Yeah, belt drive. Back on the GT this morning, and we're gonna switch up this whole video series and convert this over into a how to refurbish a 2000s era Craftsman GT series. Free tractor indeed. More stuff is starting to pile up as far as what it's been needing. So I'm amazed it's been running as well as it has. But one thing that's been going on is that when you shut the key ignition off, it just keeps on running. I can hear, first thing to check when that's going on, one of the things to check, get down here and let's see if I can do this. You listen for the fuel shutoff solenoid. So let's give the key switch a turn. Okay, so you can hear it clicking on and off. That's supposed to shut the fuel off to the car, but when I shut mine off, this thing keeps on running. So I don't know if the solenoid is actually not engaging all the way. It's just in there making noise. May have to replace it at some point, but the main thing too is the ignition kill wire. It's not sending the signal to shut off the coils. Now here's another thing, and I ran into this same exact problem on my twin Kohler on the old Massey Ferguson. Just now when I shut this thing off, something you can do is just feel the top of these heads. This one is valve cover here is pretty hot. It's you can tell it's been doing something. Come over here, check this side, and it's just barely lukewarm. You can actually even, you're careful doing this, but you can touch the exhaust pipe here. This one, see, I just had it running a minute ago. These things get super hot, and it's warm, but that tells me that thing is not firing. So go to this side. I'm not even gonna dare touch that pipe. I know that it's gonna be hot based on how hot that is. So that's a quick check you guys can do. If you suspect your Kohler twin is down a cylinder, it's amazing it runs as smooth as it does. I mean, I could put a glass of water on here a minute ago when I had it running and it just barely even moves. So pretty nicely balanced engine, but I'll show you the final way to tell them that. And right now, about the only way I have of shutting this engine down. And it's requiring a lot of choke, even after warm. Let's see if it'll fire up. There it goes. There you go. That tells you all you need to know. We are only firing on the left-hand side cylinder here. One other thing to add to the list is I was trying to go up the hill last night on a little, went out and did a burn, as the Sears Suburban Main Headquarters calls it, and barely got up my backyard. My backyard's not all that steep. It's a little bit, but I reach in here and check the belt out, and it's pretty floppy, even with the idler tensioner all the way over. Reach up from under here, but yeah. So most likely this thing is just slipping the belt when it's trying to drive this transaxle. Our good friend, Mr. Rooney Sears, he has a video on changing out the supposedly non-serviceable transaxle fluid. I have to come under here and get below this hitch plate. It's up in there, and he figured out a way to do it. And so we'll pull this hitch plate off. I think someone else has found a way to do it without pulling that plate, but I think we'll do it just to get in there and have a good look and do some more cleaning and check some other stuff. But anyway, so we're gonna turn this into a Craftsman GT restoration series, and we might get half a dozen videos out of this thing. It'll be fun. So I hope you guys come along. Okay, well, after all kinds of troubleshooting, chasing my tail, trying to figure out what this thing was doing, it would not start up. I couldn't get it to fire up for a while, and then when I got it started, I couldn't get the thing to shut off. The kill wires seemed to be doing nothing. So like some of us do sometimes, I threw some parts at the problem, got a new ignition switch, replaced this one, and thought maybe that was the source. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe the kill wire terminal on here was, something was going on with that, but not a very scientific approach on my part. But anyway, threw that on, and I think I kind of just backed into what I was doing wrong. So what I've got here is the terminals on this side, the double are on the top. On this side, they're on the bottom, single on the top. I think this may be part of that crazy double wire coil system that Kohler had going. I'm not exactly sure. I'm gonna have to find out what those two are supposed to be used for. But once I moved the kill wire down to the single terminal on the bottom side of this, everything is working fine now. So I did not need the new ignition switch, but I'm gonna keep it, leave it in there, keep the other one as a backup or a test for other equipment. But check this out. We finally got it running on 2 cylinders. It's finally sounding, well, if I knew where the key was. What did I do here? Here it is. Yeah, let's see what this thing finally sounds like it should. Here we go. There we go. That's the first time it's run properly. Just shuts off exactly like it should. So I think we are solved for now. You never know what gremlins are going to keep popping up, but I think we've got a handle on this part of it. So just a reminder to some of you newer tractor guys, small engine guys, you never want to run these things without the cooling shroud. This is not just a fancy pretty cover. This the way these fins are shaped on this flywheel, and I know my old subscribers, old tractor hands, we all know this, but some of the new guys, they may just be getting into this, but this creates a turbine in there, big old rush of wind, and then once you put this thing in place where it goes, it directs all that airflow out of this. They used to be called cooling tins because these are made out of tin, plastic now, like everything else, but it guides this air right down through those fins, and that's your head, cylinder head, and engine block is all down in there. So that's where you want the cooling air. The point is, you never want to run these engines for more than just 30 seconds, 45 seconds, something like that. Just keep it short because they'll start heating up quick because that's their only way of cooling. So anyway, that PSA done on that. And I'm gonna get this thing buttoned back up and then finally get back on this deck, which is it's by the day it's turning into more of a project, but we'll get that tackled. And since I have it, I'm gonna have it all torn down. I'm gonna go ahead and paint the thing and get it put back 100%, because I think, as I've discussed in the last video or so, is that I think I'm gonna keep this thing and put it on staff around here, put it in the motor pool, because I like to hang on to these for a while and just kind of at least play around with them for a while before I kick them down the road. And then sometimes I end up really liking them. But that old thing back there is going away, one of my old mowers, and that thing is looking sad these days, but I'm gonna see if I can't get it straightened out and sold down the road. And then little bitty tiny little MTD there, little go-kart. But get this thing going, and like I said, start using it around here. It's got the bagger on it, and I'm looking forward to trying it with the new blades, have the proper lift, and it'll actually make the bagger work properly. So but it's really a nice to drive piece of equipment. And I love the steering on it. It's really very maneuverable, and I like how it just like how it operates. The only thing I can say so far that I for sure do not like is I hate this gate piece here when you're trying to go forward, reverse, and you really get hung up. It's really an awkward control. It really is really clunky to use in practice. So anyway, that's enough rambling on for now. It's always good to have a spare. You guys know that as well as I do. Like 5, 6, 7 tractors, that's almost enough. So anyway, okay, that's all for now, and we'll get back on this a little bit later.